Horizon Chance Home Rex, and this is why wasn't Japan split between the Allies after World War II? Short animated documentary by the channel History Matters. Here's another History Matters video as always. As you all know, Germany was divided up between the Allies at the conclusion of the Second World War, yet Japan, the primary belligerent in the Pacific theater, came under the exclusive control of the United States of America. Find out, it was there to find out, right? First of all, after World War I, USA already had a unique position in the global economy, right? After that, in World War II, right, its unique position became even more stronger. And obviously with the nukes, right, I mean the war ended with the nukes in Japan. I guess we just said, like, we're just going to take it, the whole island. Right, everybody said, but maybe we decided to keep it and split it. I think we're all gonna take it. Right, I think we'll just take it. We're not gonna give any peace to anyone because we dropped the bomb, so it's our responsibility to take care of it, this and that, and we still have the nukes, so you have no say in this. Yeah, probably something like that. But yeah. Although History Matters, because History Matters explain things in short time, 3 minutes. It's a unique skill I guess most people might not recognize. Like, you think like, oh, just talking about something in small time. Yeah, it's not so easy, right? Explaining something where people don't get pissed off in the comment because you didn't explain it properly or in detail and people took it the wrong way. It's a real risk, right? Sometimes I make a comment and I have to explain it in detail. Otherwise, people just take it in the wrong way and just start to scream in the comment. So it's surprised how this channel just explains things in 3 minutes so perfectly. So let's watch it.
At the conclusion of the Second World War in Europe, you'll know that Germany was divided up into 4 occupation zones, along with Austria. Yet, when Japan was defeated and the Pacific theatre of the war came to an end, it wasn't divided into occupation zones. Instead, it came under the near-exclusive domain of the United States. But why? Why wasn't Japan divided into occupation zones? So, before getting to the why, you should know that the original plan was to in fact split Japan into 4 occupation zones, much like Germany.
I remember that photo with the emperor, right? There was some general from United States who was actually taller, much taller than the emperor, just giving this feel with the photo. Like, I'm taller than you, so I'm better than you. Some weird psychology like that, right? They specifically choose that general to stand there, just to give out that message, like emperor is giving up. Right, and United States won while the general was kind of taller than the emperor himself. So I guess the mentality is probably that we nuked them and that's how the war ended. Nobody else helped, so it's our territory or something.
Germany, although this time there was to be no France. The north of Japan was to be occupied by the USSR, the south by the British, this area was to be occupied by the Republic of China, and the rest was to come under the control of the United States. As you'll know, this never came to be, and the primary driving force behind this was unsurprisingly the Americans, who nobody argued with because of their unique nuclear arsenal. So as far as US forces were concerned, they'd done the bulk of the fighting against Japan and saw no reason why they should be forced to share their defeated enemy. Many in the US government felt that the rest of the Western allies, Britain, France and their colonies, had done little to help and frankly weren't in the financial position to occupy much more than they already were. It also won't shock you to...
Yeah, see, right there, right? First of all, after World War II was so fucked up compared to World War I, which is, World War I is already fucked up when you see the stats, right? I went from different historical videos, Napoleonic War, and then stumble upon to World War I, and just, I can see the difference between this. Like how fucked up World War I was. And then World War II and seeing how much numbers jumped up in that one. So Europe basically killed itself, mostly, in World War II. And USA obviously didn't. So USA got way too good strategic. It didn't just get good strategic, global economy position. It literally got removed the gold standard to, dollar basically. Everybody's currency was tied to dollar. I mean, that's just way too OP. It still is today, right? And after that, having only country with the nukes and having the argument like we are the only one who did something against Japan, which is not kind of, it's not really a lie, right? I mean, they did the most of the work there, right, with everything and stop the war with the nuke. So their claim is not just unfounded.
To know that the occupation of Germany and Austria was already fairly tense, especially between Soviet and Western soldiers, and there was no desire to repeat that in Japan. Furthermore, Truman was a fundamental opponent of communism, and so he refused point blank to give any part of Japan beyond South Sakhalin to the USSR, since he was unsure if they would ever leave or whether or not they would start spreading communism there. He also flat out refused
Japan that we know of today with all the technology and all the precision of the automotive vehicles, this and that. Japan is just like, Germany and Japan are the two countries you think of when you think about any mechanical things like cars or anything, right? Trains, bullet trains. Now, if communism was part of that, I don't think that would have happened, right? There's a reason why in Germany, communist part of Germany, you can visibly see how shitty their cars are and everything is shitty, while the, other part of the Germany was just thriving with the everything, vehicles, economy. So, yeah, if that happened, the Japan that we know of today wouldn't exist, which would be really sad because, Japan is one of those, like I bought a super bike and it's Kawasaki. I don't think I would have done that, right? Honda wouldn't have been a thing in United States, right? Probably, but the chances are low. So the Japan that we know of today wouldn't have existed.
Used to deal with the French since their role in the Pacific Theatre was minimal, and Truman considered it a big enough favour that France would be allowed to take its colonies back. So the Soviets were keen on having a part of Japan under their own occupation because why wouldn't they? While Stalin was happy to regain South Sakhalin, he was annoyed that the USSR wouldn't be involved with the occupation since he felt that even if Japan was disarmed, it would continue to be anti-communist, which, to be fair, it was. But the USSR was the only power that the US wouldn't budge on because of the new Cold War. As for the Republic of China, it wasn't particularly interested in occupying mainland Japan since it would take money and resources which it couldn't spare, especially when considering the momentarily halted civil war. Chiang Kai-shek was mostly concerned with getting the island of Formosa back along with Manchuria, and he did get the first one, so beyond that there was little more that he wanted. Now, it shouldn't surprise you that Britain was always happy to do a bit of occupying and was very keen to be given a piece of Japan for itself, although most of the actual occupying was to be done by Australian and Indian troops. Which is why, when the Americans did occupy the islands, Britain was given some areas of control and was placed in charge of overseeing Japanese disarmament. Now, America's original suspicions would end up being correct, and Britain would quickly leave Japan because it was expensive and they were broke. And thus, until 1952, Japan was under the sole occupation of the United States, with the rest of the world having little to no say at all. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and a special thanks to my patrons: James Bizanet, The Pastry Section, Danny Maloney, Marvin Cassow, Kelly Moneymaker, Rob Waterhouse, John Bizquez, Mo, James Castaneda, Aaron the White, Jordan Longley, Marcus Arsner, Gustav Swan, Jerry Lambdin, John Bailey, Cooling Castle.
These last images are incredible. Yeah, okay. It kind of makes sense, but it's predictable, right? I kind of predicted this before I even started watching this video. It kind of makes sense with the US's position, US's power, and basically US's claim that we are the only one who did shit. Kind of makes sense, right? And it's good actually, right? Because if Japan would have split up, right? If you split up a country like that, especially a small country like Japan, who knows what butterfly effect would have had, right? Like I said, Japan wouldn't be the same as we know of today. And let's be honest, all of us uses equipment, right? In the household equipments, right? Whether it's AC, something here and there, or vehicles or something, there's probably something Japanese there. Why? Because it's fucking efficient, right? It's really well made and efficient. In vehicles, basically, nothing beats the Japanese cars, right? Just for the, longevity of things. If you buy something like a Honda car, it's not gonna go bad. I think Honda is literally the car, right? The company who makes the most reliable cars that is, right? Second would come, I don't know, maybe Toyota or something. But yeah, German engineering is just, it's just reaching it, right? The best technology in the world you can basically get from the German technology, like Mercedes or something. Probably have the top-notch technology with being good, reliable car. While Japan might not have the best technology, but Japan is going to be the top-notch. All of this wouldn't have happened, right? If they're splitting up or, went to communism or something. Because if history tells us something, that communism and technology didn't go hand in hand. Alright people, that was why wasn't Japan split between the Allies after World War II because of USA. Well, channel History Matters. If you like my reaction, do follow and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.